It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to the Science Bowl. Nice to have you here today. This is the game here in the Prince George's Schools where we test scientific literacy. We've got 2 great elementary schools here today vying for the chance to move on to the semifinal eliminations. They'll be one of these 2 teams will come back to play Thomas Stone in our next round. Let's meet today's teams. First, from Indian Queen Elementary, would you please welcome to the program Cadence Bennett, Antonio Lee, and Leonardo Godoy. And from Mother Jones Elementary School, please welcome to the program Jason Delgado, Johanna Mejia Lainez, and Genesis Rodriguez. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's science potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
And here on the Science Bowl, our questions are graded according to difficulty. The easier ones worth 5 and 10 points. They get increasingly more difficult, 15, 20, and then 25, the toughest question of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. Into the 2 rounds today, we will have a competitor for Thomas Stone. 2 very talented and good-looking teams over there. Let's go make sure everything works properly. Let's go to Indian Queen. Antonio, would you try that buzzer for me? All right, it looks and sounds good. Good luck to you and to Cadence and to Leonardo. And Johanna, how about the green teams? All right, looks and sounds A-OK as well. Good luck to you, to Genesis and Jason. And no matter what happens today, you have won already. You are here representing your schools. You are ambassadors for Mother Jones and Indian Queen. So just relax, have a good time, and may the better team win. We go alphabetically I before M, so Indian Queen and Antonio. Let's begin our bowl.
Can I get body systems for 15?
Body systems for 15 points is a visual question. Look at the monitor, please, in the studio, if you would. And look at Max Scherzer, a pitcher, renowned pitcher for the Washington Nationals. He has 2 different colored eyes, a blue and a brown. I will give you 15 points if you can tell me the name of that part of the eye that is colored. Indian Queen.
Pupil.
Not the pupil. Good try. Mother Jones, name the colored part of the eye. Johanna?
The iris.
Iris. Good comeback, indeed. Green. Nice. Go green. Your turn.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25 points is another visual question. Look back at the monitor, if you would, please. This tree dates back to the year 1625. It is tiny because what kind of root pruning procedure keeps these trees tiny? Indian Queen, do you know what that procedure is called?
The bonsai?
Bonsai, absolutely right. Leonardo, thank you. Good answer. Go red.
Let's get physical for 15.
Let's get physical for 15 points. Teams, you probably never thought about it before, but if you went onto the moon where there is no atmosphere, if you looked up, the sky is always what color? Mother Jones.
Pass it to Jason.
Jason.
Dark.
Dark or black, absolutely right. Yes, indeed. Good. Go. Green.
Let's science potpourri 15. Science potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. Teams, the so-called growing season, if you have a garden, you know about this. In the spring, the growing season starts. And in the fall, the growing season ends when this event takes place. The last time and the first time it appears. What defines the growing season, Indian Queen?
The equinox?
Not the equinox, no. What occurs that defines the beginning and the end of the growing season? What do you think, Mother Jones? The last and the first frost. The frost, because that's what kills the plant cells. Go again, green.
Let's get physical for 5.
Let's get physical for 5 points. Teams, if you take an inflated balloon and rub it against your hair is going to stand on end because you've just created what? What have you created, Indian Queen?
Static electricity.
Static electricity. It's fun to do, isn't it? Yeah, especially to your little sister. Okay, go, Antonio. Go.
Body systems for 10.
Body system for 10 points. Teams, there is a very serious disease called triple E. Eastern equine encephalitis that affects a horse's and a human being's what? What organ? Encephalitis affects what organ, Mother Jones?
Pass it to Jason.
Come on, Jason.
The lungs?
Not the lungs, no. Indian Queen. Eastern equine encephalitis, a disease that affects a horse's and a human being's what? What organ? Give me an organ.
The kidney.
Brain, the brain. Encephalitis. Cephalo was your clue there. Go red. 80 to 80. We have a tie score. Red team.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams, quarterback Drew Brees recently broke his thumb, and quarterback Nick Foles broke his clavicle, which is another name for what bone? Mother Jones. Genesis. Tell me what you know. Go ahead. What bone? Clavicle is also known as what bone? Indian Queen. The clavicle is otherwise known as what bone? His collarbone. His collarbone. Go red.
Let's get physical for 10.
Physical for 10 points. Teams, a lot of cereal that we eat contains iron. You can't see it, but you can get it out. If you take one of these, put it in a plastic bag, stir it in your cereal, and all the little iron flakes will be attracted to it. What did you put into that plastic bag, Mother Jones?
A magnet?
A magnet. You sure did. Good. Green. Go.
Green things for 10.
I'm sorry?
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams like Matt Damon, who starred in the movie The Martian, back in 1995, the astronauts aboard the Space Shuttle Columbia grew these vegetables, sometimes called spuds. They grew potatoes. They grew potatoes. Go again, Green.
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline science for 20 points. Teams, for the first, did you say Dateline?
Yes, for 10.
For 10, okay. For 10 points, teams, your question is as follows. Back in 1781, an astronomer by the name of William Herschel discovered a planet, and he named it for King George III. He called the planet George. But to the delight of kids everywhere, they soon changed the name.
Pluto.
Indian Queen.
Pluto.
Not Pluto. Mother Jones, they changed the name of the planet George to this name because kids they like to say it. It is the 7th planet in the solar system.
Uranus?
Uranus, that's right. Or Uranus, absolutely right. All right. The music is playing. That means we have come to the end of the first round of play, and our score, it's a good game. Indian Queen is at 80, Mother Jones is at 100, and we'll be back with round 2 in just a moment. Thanks for staying with us. And we're back with round 2 of Science Bowl. And you know, these young people come from schools that have wonderful things going on, and would like to share that with you and a little bit about themselves too. Let's go first to Indian Queen. And Antonio, would you tell us about your school? First of all, where is Indian Queen?
Indian Queen is, I think, off of 4 Foot Road.
Yeah, so it's down in the southern part of the county, yeah?
Yeah.
I remember being there years ago, and it had an open-spaced classroom plan there. Is that still the case?
No.
No. So you don't hear everybody's other's class. Okay. That's probably a better thing. Who's your principal, Antonio?
Dr. McCall,
Wonderful. And out there rooting for you. And who is the sponsor of your team?
Mr. Vera.
Wonderful. And we'll be out in just a few moments' time. And did you have any alternates on your team?
Yes.
Who are they? Just first name.
Nena.
Minna. All right, we'll be out.
Nena.
Nina. That's N-N-E-N-N-A, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she has an unusual first name, and we'll bring her out in just a moment. Thank you, Nina, for being part of this game here. Antonia, tell us about Indian Queen. What is something special about your school that we should know?
Something special about our school is that they have like lots of after-school activities and after-school parties for us to do. And this week we're doing Spirit Week, what I believe it's called,
Yes.
which we can wear different colored shirts for different events like bullying and drug awareness.
Yeah, yeah. I like you. You got the spirit. You're a cheerleader for Indian Queen. I can tell, Antonio. What are these parties you're having after school? What are they for?
Well, Thursday we're going to have our costume party.
Okay, for Halloween, right?
Yes.
Very good. All right. What are you dressing up as, Antonio? Or is that going to be a secret?
I'm gonna be the Joker.
The Joker. All right. All right. You're a good
Susan,
captain.
really Susan.
Cadence, nice to have you with us today. Tell us about, Cadence, you like gymnastics, don't you?
Yeah.
And what do you hope to do? Would you like to be in the Olympics someday?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got plenty of time here. There are a lot of Olympics left in your lifetime that you could enter into. The next Simone Biles could be sitting right here. What do you want to do professionally someday?
I want to be a doctor.
Doctor, yeah, we talked about that before, yeah. And you're not quite sure what specialty. There are a lot of different doctors, but I'm sure you're going to find one that suits your talents and your likes. You're playing a nice game. Leonardo, nice to have you with us today. Tell us the Leonardo story. What do you do in your spare time?
I usually watch TV, and if I have chances, if time allows it, a science project.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'd asked him earlier what his favorite TV show was, and he couldn't come up with Science Bowl, so I'm afraid we couldn't give him all those extra bonus points we had for people who say that. Just joking with you. And you want to do?
I want to be a marine biologist, and if that doesn't work out as planned, I would be a NASA engineer.
Wonderful. Well, both great professions. And before we leave you, Antonio, I didn't ask you what you wanted to be when you get older.
So I don't really have any set goals, but I want to do something that has some sort of engineering in it.
Engineering, all right. So obviously you're good math students too, as well as good science students. All right. Mother Jones, nice to have you here. Joanna, before we started, it looked like half of Mother Jones was here. You got lots of alternates, don't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll bring them out at the end of the program here. And you have not one but two coaches, right?
Yes.
Who are they?
Miss Taylor, which is here today, and Miss Messiah that had to be somewhere else.
Wonderful. Well, Miss Taylor has been coming here for many years, and Tamara, thank you for all that you do to make Science Bowl happen for Mother Jones. Joanna, tell us about, who's your principal?
Dr. Woodson.
Wonderful. And something special about Mother Jones.
There's a garden outside that we recycled some plastic from our cafeteria, and we
Yes.
painted it, and we put it onto a wire, and then
Yeah.
we put it in the middle of a circle, and then everybody can walk around it in the garden. And the garden also has an outdoor classroom with a whiteboard and chairs that are made out of wood,
I can tell you're
And we
really
have
excited about that outdoor garden.
and they have numbers.
I remember driving up to Mother Jones, and it's like terraced in the front, and there are a lot of flowers there, and I know you've got an area in the back there too. It's a beautiful school. Thanks for sharing that with us. What would you like to do someday?
Be a lawyer.
A lawyer. You like to argue?
Yes.
Yes. Lawyers have to like to argue, and they have to win their arguments too. Genesis, nice to have you here today. Why'd you want to be on this show?
I really want to learn new things, and I sometimes want to be like an artist and sometimes draw science things.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, yeah, science and art go together. A lot of people, some of the drawings, like of the human hand and organs and art, they're just beautifully done by artists that have that talent. Jason, why'd you want to be on the show?
I want to be on the show because it looks fun.
It's fun. Thank you very much. We hope it's fun. And what do you want to do someday?
I want to be a doctor. And
Doctor.
If that doesn't work out, I want to be a police.
Very nice. And Jason has something interesting. He collects garbage? Yes? And you do that because you find things in garbage and then you repurpose them, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you are the ultimate recycler over there. Yeah. Let's get back to the game. 80 for Indian Queen, 100 for Mother Jones. You ready for round two? Yeah. Let's do this thing. Okay. Green team, Joanna, go.
Zoo parade for 15.
Zoo parade for 15 points. Teams, your question is this is very interesting. You all know what Komodo dragons are, yeah? You know, it is thought that at one time Komodo dragons fed on the pygmy versions of these pachyderms that lived on the island of Komodo. If you know what a pachyderm is, you know what miniaturized animal I'm talking about. What did they eat? Yeah.
Rats?
Not rat. Oh, no. They ate pygmy pachyderms. Pygmy-sized pachyderms. Any idea, Indian Queen? Yeah.
A lizard?
Elephants. Pachyderms are elephants. There used to be pygmy elephants on the island of Komodo, and we think the Komodo dragons actually ate them. I know, that is quite revealing. Go green. Go green.
Zoo parade for 10.
Zoo parade for 20?
10.
10. Zoo parade for 10 points. Teams, if you are using a chemical known as an arachnicide, what does that chemical do? An arachnicide. There used to be a movie called Arachnophobia, which was fear of spiders. An arachnicide is a spider-killing chemical, like an insecticide or a pesticide. Go again, green.
Daylight science for 15.
Dateline science for 15 points. Listen to this quote. The sun, with all of its planets revolving around it, still finds time to ripen a bunch of grapes as if it had nothing better to do. So said what famous Italian scientist who invented the telescope? Yeah, Indian Queen.
Galileo.
You got that right. It was Galileo. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Leonardo. Go, red. Go ahead. Antonio, you pick.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, an almond is a nut. A cashew is a nut. But this most famous and favorite nut in America is not a nut. It is a legume. What is it?
Pass it to...
Come on.
Cashew?
No, I just told you. Cashew's a nut. An almond is a nut. But this most famous nut and favorite nut in America is not a nut.
A peanut?
A peanut. A peanut is a legume. Yep, go red. Genesis, you wanted to learn something today? Now you know that a peanut is not a nut. Okay.
Science potpourri for 10.
Science potpourri for 10 points. All right, teams. If more of this country's glaciers keep melting, the country will not live up to its name.
Antarctica?
Not Antarctica. Good try. Good try. If this country's glaciers keep melting, the country will not live up to its name, Indian Queen.
Iceland?
Iceland. That's right. Thank you, Cadence. Yeah, you were listening. All right, what country has ice in it? Because glaciers are made of ice. Ooh, Iceland. You got it. Good. Go red.
Let's get physical for 25.
Physical for 25 items. Big question in that category. Teams, the late British Prime Minister Winston Churchill thought that the world's oceans were created when the steamy atmosphere of the earth went through what process? Where the gas became liquid. What's that process called? Come on, Indian Queen.
Evaporation?
No. Good try. Come on, Mother Jones, this is a gimme. When gases turn into liquids, what's that process called? It's the opposite of what you said. It's not evaporation, it's condensation. Go, please. Whose turn is it, please? Red? Okay, let's, I don't see this light. Maybe it's not working up here. Okay, red team, go.
Let's get physical for 20.
Let's get physical for 20 points. Teams, your question is as follows. Messier 5, which is one of the biggest, brightest star clusters in the universe, is 34,000 of these measuring units in space away, Indian Queen.
Light years?
Yeah, like in Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. Light years, that's it. Go red.
Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 25. Big one in that category, teams. Big words. Listen carefully. If you're in pain, you can take an aspirin. That's known as an analgesic. But what initial term that sounds like that is like ether and chloroform that puts you to sleep when you undergo an operation. It's not an analgesic, it's a what? Something that puts you to sleep. An anesthetic, like an anesthesiologist. I know some of you are talking about being doctors. You want to be a doctor? An anesthesiologist is one of the specialties. All right, our score is 145 to 100. We have a lot of questions, a lot of easy ones and a couple hard ones here. And the next question goes to what team? The red team. Go, red team.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Team, some young people who are vaping THC, which is the ingredient in this hallucinogenic weed? Indian Queen.
Meth.
Not meth, no, good try. This hallucinogenic weed contains something called THC, and some young people are vaping it. What do you think, Mother Jones? It's marijuana. Marijuana. Okay. Okay.
Forgot about that.
Red. Red, go.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points. Teams, sometimes famous art isn't all there. Mona Lisa is missing her eyebrows, and the statue, the Venus de Milo, is missing her what? She doesn't have any arms. She doesn't have any arms. You've probably seen that in cartoons before. They show this statue with no arms. It's called the Venus de Milo. Okay, again, red.
Science potpourri for 5.
Science potpourri for 5 points. The new animated movie Abominable is about the famous abominable snowman on the slopes of what highest mountain in the world? The highest mountain in the world is where you find Abominable. Name that mountain, Antonio.
Mount Everest.
That's it. Good. Red, go.
Science potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 20 points. All right. Let's see how good spellers you are. To save the threatened northern rhinoceros, they are taking a fertilized egg and putting it into a substitute mother called a surrogate mother. I'll give you the 20 points if you can spell surrogate. Surrogate.
I'm gonna give this to you.
Indian Queen's going to try. And Mother Jones, you find yourself a speller over there. You guys decide how you might want to spell this, because I might have to come to you. Indian Queen, who's going to be my speller?
I'm gonna give it to KK.
Caden, sorry. Caden, honey, say the word for me nice and loud.
Surrogate.
Surrogate. Surrogate. Say it one more time.
Surrogate.
Okay, go.
S-E-R-A-G-E-T.
Not quite. Good try. All right, Mother Jones, you get a chance. Who's going to be my speller? All right, would you say the word for me, please, nice and slowly?
Surrogate.
Surrogate. Surrogate. Yes. Give it a try.
S-U-R-I-T-G-I-T.
You started out real well. It is S-U-R. It's S-U-R-R-O. Surrogate. C-A-T-E. No points. Good try. Go again to red. Antonio?
Zoo parade for 5.
Zoo parade for 5 points. Who knew all these years watching this character in cartoons, we thought these animals loved carrots, but they really like the green tops. Mother Jones?
Bunny?
Yeah, bunnies, rabbits. What's up, Doc? Turns out if rabbits eat too many carrots, their teeth decay. That's why they eat the greens. They're smart. Go green, please. Go ahead.
Zoo parade for 20.
Zoo parade for 20 points. Teams, bears, some bears experience something called, it sounds weird, carnivorian lethargy, which is a sleep that's not as deep as what kind of sleep that the bears normally go into, Antonio?
Hibernation.
Yeah, good. Red, go.
Let's get green thing for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, if someone wants you to get to the point, they say, don't beat around this green thing. Don't beat around the what? Come on, Mother Jones.
Genesis.
Ivy.
Not ivy. Good try. Don't beat around the what?
Cabbage.
Indian Queen.
The cabbage.
The bush. Don't beat around the bush. Get to the point. Okay, go again, please. Red.
Dateline signs for 5.
Dateline signs for 5 points. Teams, your question is as follows. This animal started out life no bigger than a stick of butter. And now, here it is 4 years later. We're going to say bye-bye to Bebe from the National Zoo. What animal am I talking about, Indian Queen?
A panda.
The panda. The panda's going back to China. That's exactly right. All right, the buzzer says we have come to the end of our game, and it looks like Indian Queen has prevailed. We will be back with a wrap-up in just a moment. Don't you go away. Welcome back. Good game today on Science Bowl. And what do you see? Who turned out? We've got everybody from their schools over here. Our final tally today is Mother Jones 105, Indian Queen 175. Let's have a round of applause for Indian Queen. Cadence and Antonia and Leonardo and Nena. Nice to have you here today. The wonderful Miss Rivera, the sponsor of the team, and Principal McCall is here today. You know it's important if the principal shows up. Thank you for making an appearance here today. And let's have a round of applause for Mother Jones. 105 over there, Jason and Johanna and Genesis. And look at all the alternates back there. Aiden, wave to everybody. Daniel, Allison, and Kevin. Kevin, hold up your sign. Go Jaguars, where we roar. 467. Can you guys roar for me? All right. Mr. King is here, the vice principal. Miss Taylor, thank you always for being such a great coach. Thank you for being with us. See you next time on another edition of Science Bowl. I'm Dave Zarin. Bye-bye.